Hi guys, welcome to Nyonya Cooking. In this video, we are going to prepare a highly requested dish, and this is how to prepare Hainanese chicken rice. Now, Hainanese chicken rice is made of different parts in the dish. First is the chicken, then we have the rice and also the soup that comes together. But not to forget also the different sauces that comes together with this dish. This dish is very popular in Malaysia and also Singapore. I know many of you requested for this dish, so finally the recipe is here. Now let's move on to the ingredients so that we could quickly see how our chicken rice would look like. The main ingredient of this dish would be chicken. I'm using a whole chicken because I will be serving 4, and depending on the size of the chicken, you have to gauge yourself. But if you're only alone or you're cooking for 2, I would suggest you to get a drumstick that is attached together with the thigh. You can use that, it's also perfect. So now we move on to spring onions, ginger, some sauces here, soy sauce, sesame oil. I have some chicken fats because we will need the chicken fats to cook the rice later on, and also salt. The next part of it, that will be the rice. Now here I have some rice, pandan leaves just to make the rice really fragrant, and then we'll move on to shallots, ginger, garlic, soy sauce and some sesame oil. We're first going to prepare the chicken. So to make it easier when we are going to carve it later on, we have to remove the wishbone. Now this is an optional step if you don't want to do it, but I like to do it because it really makes things easier when we want to cut it out later. You first look for the breast. It's connecting to the neck of the chicken, and then you'll find this bone that looks like a Y shape. Reach up to the top of the connecting bones and you can just pull it off. Now when you get it out, it will look like this, exactly like a Y. They don't call it a wishbone out of nowhere because it's really a wishbone, where you can always take this and clean it up. Of course, it could be a quick game. What you do is you have two person holding each bone on one side, and then make a wish, quickly pull it off and see which side is the longest bit. So the person who has the longest bit of the bone would actually have his or her wish granted. So that's the story of the wishbone. Remember to also give your chicken a scrub with some salt. I did this the night before. So after giving your chicken a bit of facial, the skin will appear smoother. And remember to also remove the extra feathers. I'm going to pour the sauce into the chicken. Now just give it a quick overturn, a few rubs, and I'm going to stuff in some ginger and also some spring onions. Now that we have the stuffings in the chicken, I'm just going to use a very simple thread, going a few times over to have a thicker thread, and I'm going to tie the legs of the chicken to ensure that the stuffing will not come out during cooking. The next step is to cook the chicken. So over here I have a big pot and I have some water in it, so it has been boiling. Press downwards. We're going to slowly put this in. Another thing that you need to ensure is to have the water in the pot covering the chicken. So because this is not fully covered, I'm going to add a bit of hot water. As we wait for this to boil, we can always add more spring onions, or you can add carrots, radish, different kind of vegetables. It's actually the soup of the chicken rice, and we will also use this soup to boil more, to cook the rice later on. Take a look once the water starts boiling. Carefully turn the chicken over so that we have the back part of the chicken fully cooked as well. And once we have this soup simmering with the chicken in, you then can close the pot. While waiting for the chicken to cook, we are going to prepare the rice here. So I have a pot with 1 tablespoon of oil. And then I'm going to add the chicken fats. Now the chicken fats, you can get it while cleaning the chicken itself. I have some chicken fats attached to some chicken skin as well. What we really want is the fragrance from the fats or the oil. Once you see that it turns a little golden brown and we've got enough of oil, I'm just going to remove this very quickly. And then in goes the garlic, ginger and also shallots. We're going to quickly toss it around until it's really fragrant, and then I'm going to put in the pandan leaf as well, sesame oil, and a bit of soy sauce. Now you have to really cook this at low heat and quickly add the rice. I'm just going to leave the rice aside now because the chicken is ready. And as I've mentioned previously, I have a bowl here filled with ice. I'm going to put the chicken into this bowl. We will leave the chicken in the kolbar for about 10 seconds to just immediately stop the cooking process. And now we can gloss the chicken with some sesame oil and a bit of salt, just to add this beautiful glaze over the chicken and also to add some fragrance. Remember we had the rice earlier, so now it's time to have the soup in the rice. To cook the rice, you will need to ensure that the soup does not only cover the rice, but it has to be the same height of the rice as well. And that means it's basically 2-to-1 ratio, 1 for the rice and 2 for the soup. So I'm just going to boil this in the pot, and once it's boiled, I'm going to bring the heat low and then just cover this pot and let it cook. To have a great chicken rice, you need to remember the accompanying sauces. So I have here some soy sauce, Shaoxing wine, sesame oil, and also sugar. Another important sauce that goes really well with this dish is the chicken rice chili sauce. Now in my previous video, remember to see it here if you haven't seen it, that's the chili garam recipe, and we need that to prepare this chili sauce. So now let's move on to mixing the sauces. We begin with the sugar, sesame oil, soy sauce, and Shaoxing wine. As for the chili sauce, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of chili garam, then we will add the soup into the chili sauce, or else it will not be complete. Give it a few quick stirs, and if you like, you can always add some salt and sugar just to enhance the taste, but otherwise it's good to go. As for the soy sauce mix that we have earlier, we would also need to add the soup, the sauces are ready, the soup is ready, and also the rice. So now it's all down to the chicken. I'm just going to carve the chicken, so I'm just going to show you how it's done. So try to use a bigger knife and make sure it's sharp. Okay, make sure the chicken breast is facing up. Remove all the spring onions, ginger, so that it doesn't disturb us while we cut the chicken. So once you have the chicken cut into half, take one part of it, lay it flat, and we're going to cut the chicken wings first. As for the drumstick, your knife is going to go across to remove this drumstick. We are now left without the drumstick and also the wings, so I'm just going to cut this into half again. And all you need to do is just cut it into slices. Finally, I have everything assembled. I place the chicken on a plate and then just have drizzle a bit of soy sauce mixture on it. Oh, so good. Chicken is moist, not dry at all. The sauces makes everything so delicious. So those of you who have been requesting this recipe, I hope you try it. And if you have never tried chicken rice, you're really missing out a big thing. Another thing that is really core to this dish is the soup itself. So I'm just going to try it now. I've added a bit of salt just to taste, and also some radish. As I've mentioned earlier, feel free to add in some vegetables. Try this recipe and tell me what you think. Remember to subscribe to Nyonya Cooking if you're new to us, and stay tuned for new recipes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until then, happy cooking!